Going to talk about buildings. I just want to say good morning to everyone that's already in the chat. It's awesome to see you. If you are new to this channel, I'm Bob the Canadian, and I do regular lessons on YouTube. Just going to check my stream here, guys. I do regular lessons on YouTube. I usually do a video every Tuesday, and sounds like everything's working. I usually do a video every Tuesday. I do a live lesson like this on a specific topic on Friday mornings. And then on Saturday evenings, which is tomorrow for me, I usually just do a live stream from the farm, a little bit of conversation. But today we're here to talk about buildings. It might sound like an easy topic, but I was actually quite surprised how many buildings there are when you start listing them all in English. I'm going to jump down and just say hi to people in the chat. I know Lolly's been here, Nanda's here, B-Boy Little N is here. Lil is how you say that. It's a little tricky. Let's see here. Z is here, Fong is here, Sodi is here, Varong is here. Hello, everybody. Wan Sheng is here. Thuong is here. So many people here. Renata is here. Hello, Renata. Hello, Yasir here for one of the first times. Maria's here. So many people floating in. Lingard is here. Kate is here. Hello, Kate. Maria, Shinshin, Mustafa, Gosia, all the people are flowing into the chat now. Very nice. Anthony is here. Mohammed is here. And I'm losing track now, and we should probably get the lesson started. Kate is here. I might have said that already. Lost in SM is here. Karen is here. Busakorn is here. Nina, Mustafa is here. All the regulars are jumping in. So a regular in English is someone that comes to something every week. So I have a lot of regulars that come. Hello, Nihad, you are here as well. Very cool. So again, we're going to talk about buildings. The easiest building to start with, this is the easiest one, is a house. I think everyone knows this word. People live in houses. Families live in houses. But one of the things that often comes up, one question that often comes up is, what is the difference between a house and a home? So a house is a building like this, where one family or one person lives in that building. A home, this can also be a home, but if you live in an apartment, I got something in my eye. So in English, you say, I've got something in my eye, just like that. So let me just take care of that. I think that's good. In English, if you live in an apartment, you could also call that your home. So this building is a house. It can also be a home. An apartment is an apartment, but it can also be a home. Next one, my favorite building, because I work in a school, is a school. So a school is a place where students go to learn and where teachers go to teach. So here we have a school. I wasn't sure this was a school when I found the picture, but I think it's a school. This is what a lot of Canadian and American schools look like. So here we have a school. If you live in a town or a city, you have a town hall or city hall. So this is where the mayor of the town works every day. So if you look here, these two buildings are that is the City Hall of the City of Toronto. In my local town, we have a town hall as well. I'm just laughing because Lost in SM said their school looks like a hospital. So if you live in a town or city, you have a town hall or city hall. The only real difference is the size of, if it's a town, it has a town hall. If it's a city, it has a city hall. The mayor is the leader of the town, and they work there, and as well as town councilors. So those are the people that would work in that building. Just going to say hi to folks in chat. It is filling up. It's getting harder to say hi to everyone every week, but Mila is here, Hong is here, Moses is here, Vamos is here, Bernard is here, Ness, Sandra, Doris, a few names I can't read. Grace is here. Gervir is here. Hi, Gervir. Gervir left me a really nice comment this week about my last video on phrasal verbs. He really liked it, so thanks, Gervir. And Hong is here, Long is here, Nas is here, and Lisa is here. So thanks, guys, for coming. By the way, if you are just joining, we're looking at buildings today. A little lesson on buildings. The next one, the library. So in Canada, we still have a lot of libraries. I do have a video on libraries if you want to watch it. A library has lots of books. People go to the library to check out books, and the person who works there is called a librarian. It's a difficult word to say in English, but a librarian works in the library. Why don't you try saying that sentence out loud? A librarian works in the library. That's where you go if you need to borrow a book or check out a book. It's kind of the same statement. Hello, Daniela and Joan. Minnie Max, Boyka, Uu is here. Hi, Uu, good to see you. Aman, Isa, and a few other people. This is the place you never want to go to. This is a police station. So this is where police officers work, and you see that there are some police cars in front of the police station. The person in charge in a police station is called the chief of police. So police station, you don't want to go here. Usually you only end up going here if you've done something wrong. But it's nice that we have police stations and that we have police officers to keep our country peaceful, I think. HRT says, hi, Mr. Bob, how are you? I'm good. Lolly says you can borrow a book from the library. Excellent sentence there, Lolly. Passan says a librarian works in a library. Yeah, that is a tricky sentence. It's tricky for me a little bit. We also have fire station or fire hall. So in Canada, we used to say firemen, but we have firemen and we have firewomen. So we now call them firefighters, okay? So a fire station or a fire hall is where firefighters, well, they don't really work there. They wait there for a fire. When the fire starts, they jump in the fire truck and they go and they put out the fire. So when you put water onto a fire, in English, we say that you are putting out the fire. So fire station. Most towns in Canada have their own small fire station. So we have, in the little town I'm in, the town of Smithville, we have a fire station. Lost in SM said his school looked like this, but this is a hospital. I'm not sure you can see the picture very well. It's kind of a dark picture, but a hospital is where you go when you're not feeling good or when you have injured yourself. And I think that you're aware that the people who work in a hospital are doctors and nurses. By the way, here's a little story for you. Today is May 31st. 1 year ago today, I had heart surgery in a hospital. It's my 1 year heart surgery anniversary. So a surgery is when they literally open you up and they fix you. So I had a surgery 1 year ago today. By the way, I'm feeling pretty good, so I'm happy about that. There's something a little smaller than a hospital. We have a medical center or a clinic. So this is where you go if you only, like maybe you just have a little cold or flu, just a stuffed up nose or a sore throat. You would just go to a medical center. Sorry, I should have put this word up here. Medical center or clinic. And then be careful because in Canada, this is how we spell center. But in America, they flip that. It's R-E. So it's a little bit of a different spelling. So this is just a small place in our town, because my town is small, we don't have a hospital, but we have a medical center or a clinic. It's the same thing. I did a video on the shopping mall once, and that was a popular video. But we have a building which we would call a store. I'm not going to go into detail, but we have malls, we have stores, we have all kinds of different places that you can buy things. And you have different stores sell different things. So a store is another kind of building. A person who works in a store is called a salesperson. And the people who shop in a store are called customers. So Hello World says, are you okay now? I think so. Hello. I think I'm feeling pretty good. Christiane says, is this the Canadian hospital? No, I think the hospital is actually from a different country. It's not a Canadian hospital. Bob, do we say nurse to male and female? Yes. So we have male nurses and female nurses. It's the same word. Emerson says, I hope everything is fine now. Yeah, feels great. Pain and hurt, what is the difference? So pain is almost the same as hurt. Like if my arm hurts or I have a pain in my arm, that would be the difference. Law says, I like firefighters because I'm afraid of fire. There you go. Just gonna is center the same as center? Yeah, so in America, it ends in ER, and in Canada ends in RE. Let me click here. Hugh says, hope you can make subtitle for your video. So Hugh, if you come back tomorrow, this video will have automatic subtitles. They're not perfect, but they do work. I did have one for shopping mall. So a shopping mall is a big building where you have lots of stores, okay? So people go to the shopping mall to do their shopping because there's lots of stores in the shopping mall. We also have religious buildings. So we have, if you are a Muslim, you go to a mosque. This is a mosque in Toronto. Canada is a very open and free country in terms of religion. So this is a mosque in Toronto. So if you were Muslim, you would go to a mosque. If you were a Christian, you would go to a church. So this is a church building. I think this one is also in outside of Ontario, outside of Toronto. If you are Muslim, mosque, Christian, church. If you are Jewish, you would go to a synagogue. This one's a little bit of a tricky one to say. So synagogue, if you are of the Jewish faith, you would go to a synagogue. And then the last religious building I have here is a temple. And this is actually a Buddhist temple, and it's in Niagara Falls, Ontario. This is in Canada as well, this Buddhist temple. So it's close to my house. I'm going to go make a video in Niagara Falls someday, and I'll visit this temple for you. So those were the 4 religious buildings. I'll just review them quick again. So if you are Muslim, you would go to a mosque. If you are Christian, you would go to a church. If you are Jewish, you would go to a synagogue. And if you are Buddhist or some of the other religions, you would go to a temple. So those are your 4 religious buildings. There was a question, though, I missed one. Let's see here. Oh, how to pronounce the TH sound. That's a challenging one to explain in a live stream. Good afternoon, says someone. Today it's great and a lot of vocabulary, yes. Here we go. Factory. So many people in the world work in a factory. In fact, the people who work in factories are called workers. So if you were to say, what do you do as a job? You could say, I am a factory worker. So this is a factory. You can see it has smokestacks, and you can see smoke coming out of this smokestack. So a factory is a large building where they make things or where they manufacture things. I'm going to put that in the chat. The word manufacture means to make. It's a pretty long word, isn't it? To manufacture. After they make things, they store it in a warehouse. So this is a warehouse that's full of tires. And you can see this person who works in the warehouse. He's driving a forklift. And these are just all tires that are being stored. When we say something is being stored, they're just waiting for someone to buy it. So here we have a warehouse. So after something is made in a factory, it gets stored in a warehouse until it gets shipped somewhere and someone buys it. I think we saw this picture last week. If you live on a farm, this building is a barn. So the person who works in a barn is a farmer, and usually you have animals in a barn. Lost in SM is saying in German, cathedral and church mean the same. So in English, a cathedral is like a big church or an old church. I think both. Like a big old church would be called a cathedral. So we also have an office building. So people who work in an office building, we usually call them office workers. You would say, oh, I have an office job. So that means that you go to an office building and usually you sit at a desk. Oh, sorry, Krishna. And for Hindus, they go to temples too, but you did not mention it. Was it your ignorance of trying to avoid Hindus from world religion? Please correct your saying once. Yeah, no problem. I miss stuff all the time. I don't do anything on purpose or to offend people, but I will remember that for next time, that Hindus also go to temples. So we will remember that. There's a lot of religions. It's hard to remember everybody. So I'm sorry about that. No offense was intended. An office building is where office workers go to work. So here we have an office building. It has really nice reflective windows. In an office building, people like to get the corner office so that their office has windows on both sides. So I'm just going to enter something in the chat here. Let's see, sorry. Let's see, Krishna didn't mean to offend. Of course, Hindus have temples as well. Thanks for letting us know this. Awesome. I think I put too many T's in that word. I like everyone to be happy all the time. That's usually how I like to teach things. If you need money or you have money, you can go to a bank. So you can withdraw money. This bank has bank machines on the outside or ATMs, but here this building is a bank. So a bank is a place that you go to either withdraw money if you need some or to deposit money. And the person who works in a bank is called a bank teller. And the person in charge is the bank manager. So here we have a bank. Daniela says, do you have any factories around your place? If I drive far enough, there are factories. But in my immediate area, there are more farms than there are factories. So restaurant. This is kind of a hard one to see. But this is a nice restaurant where you could go with your family. And the waiter will take your order, and the chef or the cook will cook your meal, and the waitress or waiter will bring your meal to you. So a restaurant is a place where you go to eat. Emerson says, I have to leave now. I know you're doing a huge job. Perhaps I'll see you around in Canada. Thanks, Emerson. Have a good day. And Royeza says, what's a lobby? So bigger buildings, the very first area you walk into is called a lobby. So when you first walk into my school, there's a lobby. When you walk into a hotel, which we'll get to later, there is a lobby. There's another kind of restaurant though, fast food restaurant. So this is McDonald's. A fast food restaurant is a restaurant where you walk up to the counter and you put your order in and they give you your food really quickly. So we have restaurants where you go and sit down and a waiter or waitress comes to your table and they bring you your food, or a fast food restaurant where you go and order your food yourself. So this is a greenhouse. So a greenhouse is a small building that's made of glass so that you can grow plants in it. We have a lot of greenhouses in Canada because in Canada it's really cold in the winter, and in order to grow things like cucumbers and tomatoes year round, we need to grow them in greenhouses. So we keep them heated and we use them so we can grow flowers and greenhouses. We don't use greenhouses to grow greenhouses. We use the greenhouse to grow flowers, cucumbers, tomatoes, and other things through the winter. So a greenhouse. Sometimes you want to have a wedding and you rent a big tent. So behind here, this is a big tent. So maybe you don't have a building that's big enough to have a big party or a wedding reception. Hi, Sejan. How are you? Hola, Mr. Bob. How are you? Sorry I'm late. No problem, Sejan. I hope your trip to Shanghai was good. I hope that you had a good time. Anyways, sometimes when you don't have a building for something, you need to rent one, and you can rent a tent. That rhymes, by the way. Here we have not a specific building, but any building that is more than a certain number of floors we call a skyscraper. Because they're so tall, it looks like they're touching the sky or scraping along the sky. So we have huge skyscrapers in Toronto, and a lot of major cities have really big skyscrapers. There's a lot of questions in here about, can I talk about factories that don't produce smoke? I'm not a factory expert. Loss says she's eating fast food right now. Adisam says, what is step in, step out? Well, when you step into something, you take a step and then you're in it. And when you step out, you step out and you go out of it. Maybe I'll put that in my next phrasal verb video. Let's see here. A greenhouse can also make a reference to an eco-friendly house. Yes, but you need to put a space in it. So greenhouse equals a building made of glass, or greenhouse equals a house that is eco-friendly. Can't type this morning. So there's a space in there. That's a good question though. I don't live in one of these, but a palace is an enormous house that someone who is really, really wealthy owns, or someone who is a king or a queen. So a palace is a gigantic, humongous, enormous building. Those are all words for saying big, by the way. I don't live in a palace. I live in a modest size home. A long time ago, people lived in castles. There are still a lot of castles in Europe. I have not been to Europe to see any castles, but I would like to someday travel and see some castles. I think this one's in Germany. Lost in SM, is this castle in Germany? Let me know. I think it is, but we'll see. So a castle is where a king or queen lived a long time ago. There's still some royalty. Those are people who are kings and queens in the world. In Canada, you're more likely to find a log cabin than you are to find a castle. So this is a log cabin. It's a house, or what we call a cabin, that's made out of logs. So these are all trees that were chopped down, and they built a log cabin out of it. So Ivan says, it's amazing, thank you. Let's see, Jack says the greenhouse effect. Yeah, that's where the earth is getting warmer. Hussein says the way you teach is really special, thanks. Yeah, no problem, Hussein. And Lost says Buckingham Palace. That's probably one of the most famous palaces in the English-speaking world. So Chang says, what's the difference between lobby and lounge? So a lobby is the first area when you walk in a building, but a lounge is usually somewhere where you can sit. So a lobby is more of a place to, when you walk in, you look around and get your bearings in a building. You kind of look and you see where are the elevators, etc. A lounge is usually a place with chairs and couches where you can sit. My town is too small to have a train station, but I know many of you live in bigger cities. And this is a picture of a train station. I think this is Union Station in Toronto. I don't see on here whether it is or not. I thought it was, but anyways, a train station is where you go to buy a ticket to go on a train. A hangar, and note here the way it's spelled, a hangar is a large building that they keep airplanes in when they are not flying. Okay, so we have a hangar here. You can see an airplane in front. When they park the plane, they would put it in a hangar. So a large building at an airport where they park the planes is called a hangar. Let's see here. A lot of questions in the chat, but too many for me to answer, guys, and to keep going well with the lesson. So Hong says, hope you make more phrasal verb videos. I will do that. What is the meaning of stand by? I'll put that in the next video. Does that sound good? Daniela says, I love visiting castles. That's cool, Daniela. Nguyen says, greetings from Myanmar. Thank you so much for your lessons. No problem. Romeo gives me a smiley face. I like that. I'll give you one back. just a sec. There you go. The difference between a factory and a fabric. So this is a fabric, right? Clothing is made out of fabric, and a factory is a building where they make stuff. Gurveer, I'll get to that in another video. Cry, weep, scream, yell, howl, and wail. We're going to stay on track here with buildings. And Yasir says, yeah, it's a castle in Germany, the Neuschwanstein Castle. I don't think I said that right. Thanks. And Lost in M is giving me the same answer. Awesome, guys. A stadium is a large building. It doesn't have a roof, though, sometimes, but a stadium is a large building where people play football and other sports. I don't know if you guys have this in your countries, but a lot of times in North America, people will have a shed in their backyard. So a shed is a really small building that is in the backyard. So at my uncle's house, he has a shed in his backyard. And in his shed, he keeps his lawnmower and his gardening tools. Okay, so this is a shed. Oh, questions are great, Famos. It's just, I only have half an hour to do the live stream, so I always like to stay on track with the lessons. So let's see here. And Chang says, can you say world, word, wall? World, word, wall. Tricky ones. Hey, if you go to university or you go to a college, you live in a dormitory, but I think we got tired of saying that word, so now we just say dorm. So students at a university live in a dormitory or a dorm. We also sometimes call them residents. So they live in a residence or a residency. But a dormitory or dorm is a building on a college or university campus where students live. So dormitory. It looks a lot like this, which is an apartment building. So if you don't live in a house, you most likely live in an apartment. So an apartment building has all small apartments that you can either buy or rent. Usually in Canada, you rent an apartment, and it's a small place where you can live with your family or on your own. So apartment building is a place to live. And people who live in an apartment building are called tenants. So tenants are people that rent an apartment. Let me put that. Tenants are renters of apartments. I think I spelled that right. Nope. Apartments. There, Bob the Canadian. Gotta get that right. Don't ever go here. A prison is a place where you are locked up in a cell if you broke the law. So here we have a prison. If you commit a crime and you are guilty, you go to prison. The people who work at a prison are called guards, so prison guards. And then we also have the person in charge of a prison is called a warden. So prison. Try never to end up in a prison. It's not good. A hotel is a place you stay when you go to another city. And if you don't have friends that you can stay with, you would stay in a hotel. So you rent a hotel room and you stay in a hotel. You can see this is a very big hotel. In English, though, we have another type of place you can rent, and it's called a motel. So a hotel, the basic difference is a hotel costs a lot more money. And a motel, most of the times, the doors to the rooms you rent are on the outside of the building, and it's less expensive. It's cheaper to stay in a motel. So hotel, motel. Ruth says, what material are houses made of in Canada? We make our houses a lot out of wood. We just have a lot of trees in Canada, so wood is the biggest one. And then Chang says, what's the difference between jail and prison? Same. They're the same thing. Like, if I went to jail or went to prison, it's exactly the same thing. And Gurveer says, don't forget to upload a video on phrasal verbs on Tuesday. So I'm going to do part 2 of my current video on Tuesday. Let's finish this lesson up, though. Casino is a place where you go to gamble, and people who go to casinos are called gamblers. I'll put that in the chat. So gambler is someone who goes to a casino. So here we have a casino. You can see the slot machines, and you can go and you can play different card games as well. If you go to see a play or a movie, you would go to a theater. So here you see, this is a theater in Chicago, it looks like. So this is a place where you would go to see a play or to see a movie. A lot of our countries have embassies. So an embassy is a building that a country has in another country where their government officials can go and work. So I think this is the Canadian Embassy in The Hague in the Netherlands. But an embassy is a building that your country has in my country so that we can have good relations with each other, so that we can establish trade, et cetera, et cetera. So an embassy. Ekaterina says, can I say block of flats? So that would be British. You can totally say that as British. Is it legal to gamble in Canada? So it's legal in Canada to gamble at a casino. That's the only place you're legally allowed to do that. And Priya Newt says a hostel equals a motel. Oh, I forgot hostel. So a hostel is a little different. We usually call them youth hostels, but it's a place that just has lots of places for people to sleep if they're hitchhiking or traveling. This is the last one, people, and then I gotta go. Parking garage. So in Canada and the United States, we have a lot of parking garages. It's a really, really big building, and the only thing you do there is you park. That's the whole thing. So anyways, Bob the Canadian here. I got to wrap this lesson up because I have to start work soon. If you have not subscribed yet to this channel, there's a button down there that you can click to do that. Give me a thumbs up. I just want to say thank you to all the people that came to watch today. It was awesome. I know I had a lot of new subscribers this week. So again, new video every Tuesday. Live lesson on a specific topic like today, Friday morning, and there will be a question and answer live stream tomorrow night, and I invite all of you to come to that as well. It will be at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me put that here, 7 p.m. p.m. EST, and I forget what that is GMT, but I just need to say bye now. I've gone over time. I need to actually start my job. Bob the Canadian here, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to come back tomorrow and watch this video again to help you practice all of the words and phrases that we went over and get them into your brain more. And I see a lot of thank yous in the chat. You guys are very welcome. I hope the lesson was good for you. Join me next week. I don't have a topic yet, but I'll think of something. It's always fun to do a live stream and have so many people watching. So thanks again for watching. I'm going to push the button now